Hey, BookTube! It's Peg. It's been a while. Welcome back to the History Shelf. I hope everyone had a lovely 4th of July weekend. I sure did. Was doing a lot of stuff in the yard, and but I am a few days overdue in posting my Historathon 2024 Quarter 3 Pile of Possibilities / TBR. So we're going to combine the Pile of Possibilities and the TBR together. Let me get these books together here for you. Yeah, so it's been busy. I've been out and about, doing things, and it's been a minute since my last video, and I'm sorry for the delay, guys. Just been putting some more focus on living life and experiencing life outside of the library, and it's been wonderful. I mean, I think that's what summers are about, right? But anyway, Historathon 2024 continues, and I wanted to give you a couple updates on how I'm going to do my follow-ups, because we've had 2 quarters that have passed, obviously, and I've been overwhelmed with stuff, so I think I'm going to be doing my wrap-up for the year. At the end of the year, and I'll do it by quarter. I'll make a nice long video kind of going over what I read for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. So I think that should make a nice wrap up by the end of the year. It's just a little too daunting right now to try to squeeze in wrap ups right at the end of the month, because I have things that are kind of overlapping, and it's just a little too difficult. So as much as I can do is just do my Pile of Possibilities and TBR and get my reading in when I can, and then I'm going to come back and give you guys reviews at the end of the year telling you what I was able to finish and what I thought. So I hope that works for everybody. It's kind of how it's going to have to work here. So quarter 3, we are covering the years or the centuries from, sorry for that noise, 1500 through 1820. So I picked out an assortment of books, and one of them I've already read, so that obviously will be in my wrap up. But I'm not going to tell you which one. The discerning and observant among you will know fairly soon which one it is that I've read. But let's go into some of the books I've selected. Let's start with this one because it looks really, really good. And I got this a while ago, and I still haven't read it, and I really want to read it. This is put out by Westholme Publishing. And this is We Could Perceive No Sign of Them. Failed Colonies in North America. 1526 to 1689 by David MacDonald and Rain Waters. Rain Waters. What a wonderful name. Rain Waters. Never thirsty. So let me give you a little, it's not too big of a book. I think I could handle this one. Famous last words. I'm always saying that. And some of these other books are pretty chunky, so this might push this one up to the top of the list. Let's see here. We have the many ill-fated attempts by Europeans to create permanent settlements in the New World. So that's what kind of prefaces this. The nations of the modern Americas began as successful colonies, but not all colonies succeeded, and the margin between colonies that survived and those that failed was small. Both contribute to our understanding of the ordeals of the Europeans who first settled in the New World and of the Native Americans who had to interact with them. But with the exception of the famous Lost Roanoke colony, the failed colonies of North America remain largely unknown except to specialists in colonial history. The Spanish and French repeatedly attempted to colonize parts of Georgia, Florida, and Virginia, while the Dutch, French, and English sought to establish permanent settlements along the northern waterways of the New World. The greatest problem faced by every colony was the specter of starvation. Native Americans gave food to newly arrived colonists, but such generosity could not endure. Indigenous people soon realized that colonists of every nationality were prepared to make war against native peoples, conquer, subjugate, and even massacre whole communities unless they were cooperative and offered no resistance to the intrusion into their territory. In response, Native Americans withheld aid or resorted to retaliatory violence, dooming many European settlements. and we could perceive no sign of them. Historians David MacDonald and Rain Waters tell the fascinating stories of the many attempts to establish a European foothold in the New World, from the first Spanish colony in 1526 on the coast of Georgia to the final disastrous French endeavors near the Arctic. Using primary source texts, the authors synthesized the shared experiences of Europeans to better understand the very fine line between success and failure and the varieties of Native American responses. And here are our authors. Get these guys. There you go. We could perceive no sign of them. Looks to be pretty good. Got some maps, you know. Got some illustrations in here. Yeah, I love this kind of history. I love the way early colonial history, and I love reading about the Spanish explorations in the Southwest during the 16th century, I think early to mid 16th century. But anyway, this is on my list of Pile of Possibilities. And then we're going to go over to, got a little bit of everything. Now we got a big one here. This one has been on my to-read list for a while and on my to-read shelf for a time. I took all of these books down from my shelves, my existing shelves, and I'm like, let's try to get one of these read because I got a lot of them, as you know. This is from Yale University Press. This came out in, give me a date, 2005. And this is Ivan the Terrible by Isabel de Madariaga. A little bit thicker of a book. This is an old, you can tell that I've had this a while, because guess what? This is one of my few remaining book club edition books that has this darn number, and that means this is a book club edition. Ew, I hate book club editions. But this one has held up very well. The pages have not yellowed over time, because book club edition versions of books are often just shoddy quality. In this case, the you still have the cheaper the cheaper boards on the hardcover. It's definitely a cheaper cardboard, and you can see it's kind of ripped. But the pages are nice and just clean, unmarked. So yeah, I didn't realize I still had some book club editions hanging around. I thought I'd gotten rid of all of those. But I probably looked at this one and I said, you know what? This is a serviceable reader's copy. So, yeah, Ivan the Terrible by Isabel de Madariaga. Let me try that again. Isabel de Madariaga. There we have it. Let's take a look at this one. Ivan the Fourth, known as the Terrible. Lived from 1533 to 84, is one of the key figures in Russian history, yet he has remained among the most neglected. Notorious for pioneering a policy of unrestrained terror and for killing his own son, his reign was devastating for both Russia and her people. This is the first attempt to write a biography of Ivan from birth to death, to study his policies, his marriages, his atrocities, and his disordered personality, and to link them as a coherent whole. Well, God bless you, Isabel. I don't know how you were able to manage that. Isabel de Madariaga situates Ivan within the background of Russian political developments in the 16th century. And with revealing comparisons with English, Spanish, and other European courts, she sets him within the international context of his time. The biography includes a new account of the role of astrology and magic at Ivan's court and provides fresh insights into his foreign policy. Facing up to problems of authenticity, much of Ivan's archive was destroyed by fire in 1626, and controversies which have paralyzed Western scholarship, de Madariaga seeks to present Russia as viewed from the Kremlin rather than from abroad, and to comprehend the full tragedy of Ivan's reign. So that sounds like a really fascinating approach. It's almost 400 pages, okay? But I've really been wanting to read this, so I hope I can maybe squeeze this in, even though it's a bigger read. I really do want to read this biography of Ivan the Terrible from Yale University Press. So that is on my pile. All right, and this is kind of fun. In lieu of the new Hulu series Shogun, this book came out right around. I mean, I don't know if they did. They did time this. Yes, because this author. Let me just introduce this book to you. It's called "In the Service of the Shogun: The Real Story of William Adams" by Frederick Krinz. This is put out by, who is the publisher here? Reaction Books. Slim little volume here. It's just came out, brand new hardcover. So this is a new book, a new release. And this kind of coincides with the Hulu series Shogun, because Frederick Krinz was a supervisor on that show, about, Shogun, James Clavell's Shogun, is based around this Englishman. So Frederick Krinz, he supervised the historical aspects of the television series. So he was involved with that show. Anyway, and this is his book. Let me read it to you real quick here, real brief synopsis. In 1600, English helmsman William Adams washed ashore in Japan and was interrogated by Tokugawa Ieyasu, Japan's most powerful warlord and soon-to-be shogun. Far from executing Adams as a pirate, Ieyasu made him one of his most trusted advisors. This biography traces Adams' rise from humble pilot to a position of immense influence in Japan's foreign relations, telling the story of the shogun's empire and of Adams's eventual downfall. This is the first full biography of Adams based on original Dutch, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese sources, and includes much previously unknown information. Frederick Krinz tells the authentic story of Adams's checkered life in its historical context, taking us on a compelling journey into Adams's complex inner feelings and cosmopolitan heart. So, really nice little book here. Got some great illustrations. We got some color portraiture in here as well. So I just thought this would be perfect for quarter 3 in the service of the Shogun, and it's timely in that it is kind of like the basis, or the companion piece to the Shogun, the fictional novel, but still it's based around this person. So this is on my pile of possibilities, service of the Shogun. All right, and then just because I never get tired of this story. I've seen movies. We've all seen movies. We've enjoyed it. It's just your quintessential survival at sea tale. And let's see here. And I'm catching it right on the cusp of the range of quarter 3, right? Because we've got 1500 to 1820. So this comes in around 1789. So we're right there on the cusp. But who doesn't love a good story about the mutiny on the Bounty? This is The Truth About the Mutiny on HMAV Bounty and the Fate of Fletcher Christian by Glyn Christian. And this is put out by Pen and Sword Books. Another slim volume. So this could be in very, very big print. So this wouldn't take very long at all to read this. So let's see what is done in this book, because I've read several different books on the Bounty. Let's see if this brings anything new to the table, to the discussion, as it were. Let's see here. Okay, it says The Truth About the Mutiny. This book here brings this famed South Pacific saga into the 21st century. By combining unprecedented research into Fletcher Christian and his fate with deep knowledge of Bounty's Polynesian women. Okay, deep knowledge. Okay, of Bounty's Polynesian women. Glyn Christian presents a fresh and comprehensive telling of a powerful maritime adventure that still captivates after 230 years. Over 3,000 books and major articles on the mutiny, or the 5 feature films starring starring actors such as Clark Gable, Charles Laughton, Marlon Brando, and Mel Gibson, none has told the true story as until 1982, no author knew the real Fletcher Christian or could understand his relationship with William Bligh, his mentor turned nemesis. All right, that's an interesting claim. Glenn Christian's extraordinary research into Bligh, Christian, and Bounty included every deposit of documents worldwide and a sailing expedition to Pitcairn Island. Oh, wow. So this book details the cramped, dark conditions on the ship and how Bligh bravely commanded it at Cape Horn, saving it and the crew. Yet, he was unable to keep discipline because he didn't punish enough, instead relying on his brutal tongue. Damn your eyes, sir! Damn your eyes! Anthony Hopkins, Bounty. I wish I could do that accent, but yeah. He did say that a lot to people. He was verbally abusive, but I could have sworn, in that movie, he was a ball breaker. He was a ball buster. No one liked him. Damn your eyes, sir. Okay. It's so funny how, swear words and put downs have changed over the years and centuries. Damn your eyes, sir, would probably equate to the FU today, right? But I like that. Damn your eyes, sir. Damn them. Okay. But he didn't punish enough. That's interesting. Okay, so forced to remain in Tahiti for 23 weeks, Bligh struggled to retain order when Bounty sailed. Glenn Christian reveals how this affected Fletcher Christian mentally, explaining his out-of-character mutiny. Then Christian showed revolutionary social conscience, using democracy and uniforms on Bounty to maintain leadership, including through the little-known settlement of Fort George on Tubuai. After this, he and Bounty disappeared for 18 years. Bounty's story becomes that of Pitcairn Island, of revolutionary black women who protected their children with the blood of their fathers and continued Fletcher's ideals to become the first women in the world permanently to have the vote and guarantee education for girls. But where was Fletcher Christian? Oh, this is interesting how he kind of pulls in the history of the women. So I'm actually really down with that. That's something I've never seen done before. Okay. Then the rest of it says, well, that was it. So I'm intrigued. So now I think this has really rocketed up to the top. This is on my pile of possibilities for this quarter. Oh, keep hitting things here. So let's maybe I have got two more books I want to show you real quick. This is another possibility from the great folks at the Naval Institute Press. Gosh. I've been having an itchy finger wanting to go shopping at Naval Institute Press lately. But this is one of the books I picked up in one of my Naval Institute Press book hauls maybe a year or two ago. I don't know. But I think I got it on the Clear the Decks sale site. But it's about one of America's greatest sailors, and it's written by one of America's greatest historians when it comes to seafaring, naval warfare. And this is another biography, a big one, but it's on my list of things I want to get to. And this is John Paul Jones, A Sailor's Biography by Samuel Eliot Morison. And I've got the nice trade paperback, Blue Jacket Books version of that, which only Naval Institute Press puts out. You can shop for books at the U.S. Naval Institute site, or just type in Naval Institute Press, bring it up, and they've got some great stuff that is way marked down. If you go to their Clear the Decks section of their drop-down menu. But anyway, I'm going into the minutia. But Blue Jacket Books, I've got several books with this from the Blue Jacket Books, and as they call them here on the back, Blue Jacket Books are affordable paperback editions of exceptional works on naval and military subjects. And they are affordable. But anyway, take a look at this. This is Samuel Eliot Morison's biography, A Sailor's Biography on John Paul Jones. It says here on the back, written by the renowned naval historian Samuel Eliot Morison, this Pulitzer Prize-winning book didn't know it won the Pulitzer, is widely recognized as the only authoritative modern biography of the naval officer frequently referred to as the father of the U.S. Navy. It vividly portrays the illustrious career of John Paul Jones from his early training at sea in the British West Indian merchant trade, to his exploits in the newly independent American Navy, to his appointment as an admiral in the Russian Navy and command of a squadron in the Black Sea. Yeah, that's the part of his life the rest of us don't really know too much about, which I'd like to remedy. With compelling detail and remarkable insight, the dramatic narrative captures Jones's tenacity and fierce dedication and loyalty to his men and country, despite ill treatment and only begrudged recognition from his superiors. Jones's incredible victories at sea form an important part of the book. Morrison's description of the battle between Jones's Bonhomme Richard, and HMS Serapis is considered one of the most vivid accounts of a naval battle in the English language. Well, all right. I did not know about that either. So, great stuff. If you like biography or naval biographies, definitely, especially of this time frame, you might be interested in this. And it's written by Samuel Eliot Morison. What are you gonna do? You don't go wrong with that. You just don't. Cottage where he was born. All right, good stuff in here, guys. So many great selections. It's gonna be hard, but John Paul Jones, Samuel Eliot Morison. And then finally, I'm gonna pick this book because I'm not sure where I found it. Definitely somewhere at a used bookstore, and I bought it just because it was like, this is an old book, and plus I've been wanting to read more. Well, everyone talks about Boswell's diaries and, you know, his London Journal and stuff like that, and I just kind of wanted to get in on that. And I found this volume. It's only 1 year of his life. Okay, so I just found one volume. Put out by an old publishing company, Heinemann. This is a very old used book, guys. Look at this. This is Boswell's London Journal, 1762 to 1763. Edited by Frederick A. Pottle. It is definitely an old creaky book. Look at that. The inscription says 1950. And this is the Yale editions of the private papers of James Boswell. So I don't know, I just kind of landed with this one book, and I was like, all right. I very much doubt I'll ever have a complete set, but I thought this would give me a taste of Boswell's writing, and then maybe I can find a more comprehensive life of Boswell. Or wait, Life of Johnson. What am I talking about? Oh, these are the private papers of James Boswell, but he wrote the Life of Johnson, and okay. We know all that, right? Yes, we do. Okay. Yeah, but it's cracking. As you can see, it's going to come apart a little bit. But I wanted to dip in at least. So I don't know if I'll read all of this, but I wanted to read portions of it and to get a sense of whether I would like to read more Boswell. So threw in one of my old used books that I found somewhere, which is still pretty valuable. I would reckon, even though it's kind of, the spine is cracking. The pages are very dangerously to kind of like falling out, but we'll take good care of her, as you know we do on this channel. So that's it, guys. That's I didn't want to go too crazy with this pile of possibilities. I haven't decided yet. I mean, let me just say this. Okay. So those are my pile of possibilities. And this is going to be my tentative TBR. May not get to all of these. I am going to say that I'm going to dip into this, and at the end of the year when I'm going through the different quarters, I'll mention, what I've read of this. I'll make a note for myself as I'm reading it, just to kind of jot down some takeaways, but I probably won't read all of it. But these 3 books will be my TBR for Historathon 2024, quarter 3. We're going to go with We Could Perceive No Sign of Them. We're going to go with In the Service of the Shogun, The Real Story of William Adams. And of course, we're going to go with The Bounty, baby. The truth about the mutiny on the Bounty. So those will be my 3. But I hope these maybe gave you some, maybe you saw a book on here you just had to have, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad that she showed that. I really want to read that. That's what I go for when I show you these things. Just on the off chance it's really just going to, knock the socks off someone out there, a book out there that they're like, holy crap, I got to get that book. That's what I live for. But anyway, check out the other Historathon, or my fellow co-hosts. I've got all that information down in the description box. There's a healthy and hearty Discord, different threads for different quarters, and the Discord conversation. It's a really popular place. I can barely keep up with it. I try to hop in when I can, which is not very much, so I apologize, everybody. But I'm out here, and I'm definitely so keen to be one of the Historathon co-hosts. But if you really, and if you're not making videos or content yourself, but you like to read along and discuss books with folks, but not on the, not using the camera or anything like that, just check out the Discord, and I'll put that information in the description box below. Join the group. Everyone's very welcoming, and just start talking about the books you're reading. You can send pictures over the Discord. It's just like any other, app where people are chatting and sending messages and photos and things like that. So, but it's very active. It's still very active. So guys, let's get into quarter 3. Tell me below in the description box what books you're going to be reading for quarter 3, 1500 to 1820. And let's just keep elevating the reading of history, because it's so important, especially now. But I think you could say anytime people have lived, history has always been important, but it gives you a frame of reference for where we've been, where we are now. And there's so many little puzzle pieces along the way that you can kind of lock things together to see, the arc of history and how it impacts, how the decisions that were made in the past, in the actions and the events that happened in the past, still have reverberate down through today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me here on the History Shelf. I'll be back real soon. I'll be having a new History on the Horizon episode coming up very shortly. Lots of new history being published this fall. And I've got a heads up on a few of these for you. So thanks again for joining me here at the History Shelf, everybody. And until next time, well, I don't have a sign-off, not like Bill Rutenberg. I love his sign-off. Happy reading. And that's for you, Bill. Love you, Bill. All I can say is thanks for being here at the History Shelf. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for liking and subscribing and all that you do. And until next time, take care and be well. Bye-bye.